I mean, we can't be in a mode of thinking about appeasement at this point. The risk to us right now is that we end up in a military conflict as he carries on. And so we should use every non-military means that we have at our disposal to try to stop this man.
Very fast moving story. And while we've been on air, Number 10 has let it be known that they're going to be sanctioning Russia's president and foreign minister personally and imminently. So let's get some thoughts on that now from Bill Browder, who's head of the global Magnitsky Justice Campaign and was at one time the largest foreign portfolio investor in Russia. Russia since declared Browder a threat to national security. Bill, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Great to have you on the program. I mean, you've been warning about Putin for years, I know. Um, when you hear what Number 10 is planning now, personal sanctions against Putin and Lavrov, does that feel like the kind of scope of sanctions that are required, or not even that enough?
Well, so when the when the government announced the first set of sanctions on Tuesday, I would have graded them a 2 out of 10. I would have given them an 8 out of 10 based on his speech yesterday. And in order to get to 10 out of 10, two things need to happen. One is what he just said, which is to sanction Vladimir Putin. But in sanctioning Vladimir Putin, we have to understand that he doesn't hold assets in his own name. He holds assets in the name of oligarchs. And when I say oligarchs, I mean the richest men and women in Russia, mostly men. Those oligarchs are household names in the UK, and those people need to be sanctioned because they are holding Putin's money. And then the second thing that needs to be done in this 10 out of 10 would be to disconnect Russia from SWIFT, the international payment system.
Well, on that, there are problems, aren't there? Because the EU is in disarray over what to do about SWIFT. The UK is urging action, but Germany in particular is digging its heels in. So what's the outcome?
Well, what I've seen happen is quite remarkable. The EU, which is where Germany is playing a very big role, has gone to never wanting to sanction anybody. In fact, the Germany only wanted to provide 5,000 helmets to the Ukrainian army a couple of weeks ago, to declaring that Vladimir Putin will be sanctioned. So they've moved in all sorts of in a pretty radical direction from a place of total appeasement to something a lot less than that.
But
So I mean, anything can happen, and I think that whatever they're talking about right now is not what they'll be talking about 2 days from now.
right.
And as you're
Well, look, but given the fact that Putin's obviously been planning this invasion for quite some time, isn't there a risk that even the sanctions that the UK and the EU and the US are now discussing will end up being, he will have been able to evade them because he'll have plotted his, hiding his assets or, plotted a dependence on other countries. So he won't be as hurt as he could be.
I don't believe that that's the case, and we shouldn't assume he's all powerful and all knowing. Vladimir Putin, first of all, didn't believe that anyone would have the guts to put him on a sanctions list. I think this is totally surprising to him. And on top of that, Vladimir Putin has stolen upwards of $200 billion over the last 20 years, and the oligarchs and officials around him have stolen probably $1 trillion, and they can't keep that money. They can't hide that money away. It's unhideable. And that money is sitting in Western accounts and Western shares and Western properties. And that is the money that should be targeted in the West. Now people say, well, if you do that, is Putin going to come? Was he going to withdraw his troops from Ukraine? And the answer is no. But if we do that, we understand that this is something Putin cares about very deeply and profoundly. And it finally gives us a place where we have leverage, where we've done something to him that he feels pain about.
Well,
And if we have leverage, then perhaps he'll come and say, okay, how do we sort this out?
So, if the sanctions are moving very much in the direction that you would like, what's the kind of downside in terms of retaliatory action that Russia might unleash and, the economic pain that this is going to cause for the West?
Well, there's all sorts of economic downsides. So where does he have leverage against us? He can stop supplying gas to Europe. But the downside to him of doing that is we'll stop paying him for the gas and then the money runs out. He could do cyber attacks, but he could still do that in any case. I mean, we can't be in a mode of thinking about appeasement at this point. The risk to us right now is that we end up in a military conflict as he carries on. And so we should use every non-military means that we have at our disposal to try to stop this man.
Just finally, you have been shouting from the rooftops about taming Putin, and I've done interviews with you before where you've urged these kind of actions. Why do you think it is that the US, the UK, the EU have been so slow to take such little action?
It's just it's appeasement, plain and simple. Everybody thought, we don't want to fight with this guy. Maybe if we just don't say anything, he'll go away. The problem is, none of us have picked a fight with him. He has picked the fight with the world, and it's not our fight, but it's a fight that we have to engage in. And we're finally waking up to the fact that we have to engage him in this fight, whether it's a fight of our choosing or not. And it will be a costly fight. There's no way around it. The question is, what's more costly? A physical war or a financial war? And at the moment, the financial war is less costly for sure.
Bill Browder, head of the Global Magnitsky Justice Campaign. Thanks very much for joining us.